Welcome back, everyone, to part 4 of mass, weight, and density. And finally, we're going to talk about density for this video lesson. So, have you wondered why a 50-gram ice, so a small ice cube, floats, but so does a 500-kilogram iceberg? Why a small iron nail sinks in water, but a large iron boat floats on water? How can a heavy submarine simply move in and out of water at will? All of this can be explained with their density. So we define density as the mass per unit volume, how much mass is inside the substance for every meter cube. And density can be calculated using this formula, where this symbol here is the Greek letter rho. You write it down like this. This is a symbol for density. M is mass and V is the volume. Now you can see from this formula where we get our definition for density. Density is defined as mass per over volume. So you can see mass over volume or mass divided by volume, and that is also shown in the formula. The SI unit for density is kilograms per meter cube, but you can also have units such as gram per centimeter cube. If you cannot remember the formula for density easily, then you can use this trick. You can see here I heart density, where the shape of the heart gives you the formula. So M over V. So what is density? Density tells you how dense something is or how packed something is. If something is very packed, very dense, we say it has a high density. So here is an object. This one has high density. Whereas this object, you can see there's a lot of space in between the particles. So this object has low density. It's not very packed. So here are some other examples where you can compare the density of these substances. You can look at their mass and the volume, and you can tell how dense it is. For foam, you can see there's not a lot of mass within 1 centimeter cube, so this one has low density. For diamond, there's quite a bit of mass, 3.5 grams in 1 centimeter cube of diamond, so this one has an average amount of density. Whereas for iron, you can see it has a lot more mass within 1 centimeter cube, so that means iron is very packed. So iron has a high density. It's very packed. Let's do example 3 to see how we can use the formula to calculate density and also mass and also volume. 3a, calculate the density of a 10 centimeters by 15 centimeters by 20 centimeters wooden block whose mass is 2000 grams. So here I have a wooden block, and the wooden block is 10 centimeters by 15 centimeters by 20 centimeters. And then the mass of the wooden block is 2000 grams. Now, what's the formula for our density? Density is equal to mass over volume. Mass is already given to us, and that's 200,000 grams. What about the volume? We can find the volume from the measurements of the wooden block. So what's the volume of the wooden block? You can find the volume of a cuboid by the formula length times breadth times height. So the length is 20, the breadth is 10, the height is 15. So the volume of this block is 3000 centimeter cube. So the mass is 2000 grams. Volume is 3000 centimeter cube, and you can do that calculation. The answer will be 0.667 grams per centimeter cube, and this round off to 3 significant figure. B. Now you have a cube with size 2 centimeters long, and it is made from a material of density 8 grams per centimeter cube. Calculate its mass. Now you have a cube, and each side of the cube is 2 centimeters. We have a density, and we want to calculate the mass. So again, density is equal to mass over volume. Now we want to calculate mass, so that means we have to make M the subject of the formula. So rearranging this formula, moving V to the other side, you will get M is equal to density times the volume. So that's just algebra. That's just maths, okay? Now, we know what the density is, but we have to calculate the volume. So the volume of this cube, now because this is a cube, you can use the formula side times side times side to find the volume. So it's 2 times 2 times 2. So the volume of the cube is 8 centimeter cube. Okay, so the density is 8 times the volume is also 8. And so the answer is 64 grams. And that's our mass. Now let's do C. This time you have a mass of a wooden block that is 150 grams. It has a density of 2 grams per centimeter cube. Calculate its volume. Again, this is the formula for density. This time we want to make V the subject of the formula. That means V, we have to move it to the other side, and then density, we have to move it down there. And so the formula now is rearranged to become V is equal to mass over density. So the mass is 150. The density is 2, and that will give us a volume of 75 centimeter cube. And that's the answer. Okay, so for this video lesson, what you should take away for your O-level exam. Make sure you remember the definition of density, the formula of density, and also the 2 units of density. Make sure you also understand what density means. High density means the substance is very packed, and these are things like iron, diamond, usually metals. And then low density means the object is not very packed. So these are like styrofoam, air, things like that. In the next video lesson, we're going to look at floating and sinking and how we can use density to tell whether an object will float or whether an object will sink.